Increased self-trust allows for enhanced creative expression. Risks aren't as scary when they're taken with self-confidence. A sense of personal best enables the recovering perfectionist to experience pleasure in her creative process. The need to compare herself to others stops as she trusts her internal sense of excellence. With this kind of nurturing, her creativity continues to grow, acting as an antidote to stress. And I love that, and that is just one of the many gems in this book that I highly recommend to all of you to read. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Savannah Vinden. I go by Savvy C, and welcome back to Savvy C Scoop. You can see from my theme song introduction video, the dun 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 dun, the first of the 3 words on the screen that pop up are books, and that is because I don't think I've ever shared this with you guys. The start of the Savvy C Scoop, start of this YouTube channel was my book reviews. Back in the day of early quarantine, back when everyone was just trying new recipes and knitting and watching movies, my thing was books. I was like, you know what, let me take all this free time I have that I've never had before in a while to just read all the books that I've been telling myself I was gonna read and have time for, made excuses, blah, blah. And I would just share on Instagram, my Instagram stories, what I was reading and kind of giving like a little rating and blah, blah, blah. And so I started getting DMs from my friends about it, being like, oh, like talk about this more, like, oh, can you make a video? And thus me filming book reviews started, and I put them on YouTube as well as my Instagram. And so that was called Cover to Cover, because I would read the book cover to cover, start to finish, haha, get it? And I would just share it, and I would always specify too and stress that they would be spoiler free. So it's like I'll give you a little taste of it but not ruin it for you, so that you can hopefully go experience for yourself and read it for yourself, or maybe even listen to it, do an audiobook, and just take what you want from it. And I thought to bring that back after reading this book today. And then too, what happened, I'll follow up. So Cover to Cover then morphed into I Know That's Right, like write your name, get it? Like, I know that's right. And then I moved to Paris, France in September 2020 for my master's degree. And oh Lord, you think you know reading until you start a graduate program. And I just ran out of time, and I just couldn't put out content at the rate and the speed that I wanted to. But after reading this book, that was gifted to me from a dear friend, just to go, hey girl, if you're watching this, I was reminded of that passion and just the beauty of pleasure reading and how just books really speak to me, and I just love sharing it with all of you. And so I thought, let me bring it back. Let's go back to what I know. And so you guys, if you want to check those past videos, I will be sure to link it up here, and you can check it out after this video. But before we get into this book review, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more. Almost at 1,000. Will you be glad to? Just hit the little button. It'll mean a lot, really a lot. And of course, to comment down below, maybe more book suggestions if you want to keep the conversation going, things like that. I would love to hear back from you guys. So let's get into it. The book I'm talking about today and reviewing is Diane Ealy's Ph.D, because she is the real deal. Know what she's talking about. Book called The Woman's Book of Creativity. I mean, look at this cover alone. I mean, don't judge a book by its cover, but pretty cool. And I remember that catching my eye initially. A friend sent this to me, like I said, never heard of the author, never heard of this book, but the title alone, the cover, I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is about. And I'm so glad I did. This book is 249 pages, and it has 4 parts. And let me see how many chapters. Oh, it doesn't have many chapters, but 4 parts. The part 1 is called Understanding Feminine Creativity. Part 2, Developing Your Unique Process. Part 3, Integrating Creativity into Your Daily Life. And Part 4, Breaking Blocks. And from the introduction, you're directly just spoken to, obviously from the author, if you will, but just told to really just have this book and make it your own, which I really love and appreciate when it comes to kind of, it's giving like self-help and things I wish I knew when I was younger type thing, and lessons learned, that genre of a book. And I really love and encourage others to make books or just any form of information, any form of media that they consume, and just apply it to your life, apply it to your situation. And from the introduction from jump, Dr. Ealy, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right, Ealy, oh, like Michael Ealy, okay, cute, really just urges all readers to do, and I urge the same. So, she says you don't have to read in order, you can skip around. There's different symbols. Let me see if I can find the page real quick. There's different symbols where, they want you to stop and reflect, where they want you to maybe skip ahead, skip back. Note from the author. I'll show you guys real quick. Hopefully you can see that. But it's like different symbols she has is where it's like, you can skip ahead to another chapter, you can go back, you can reference this, you can see the themes on the sides. There's huge margins, which I love. If you're a fellow note taker for books, you can write down. There's chapters and pages where they encourage you to write down and reflect in your notes and create, affirmations and statements and challenge your fears and things like that. And I really highly just recommend this book. Definitely give it a confident 4.5 stars. Because I'm hesitant sometimes to give a book a 5-star because nothing's perfect, so I'll give it a 4.5. But it is a really great book and worth your time. And especially for those watching this, if you're a fellow creative, in any form or fashion, whether maybe you feel like you're more on the inspiring side, maybe you're like about to hit your breakthrough, or you've been doing it for years and have been paid for it and, paying your rent and paying your bills with it, which I applaud you for that. I think this is just a great resource and just a great, felt very like therapeutic in nature, felt very like, affirming of what you're doing and what stages you're going through. For me, I made a video about this recently about how just being so tempted to want to quit and be like, forget it. You see the state of the world. I'm 23, coming out of grad school. I'm about to graduate in May next month. And I'm just like, why? Why do I even try? My bank account looking trash, all this stuff. I am still in Paris. I am still living the dream. Let me not say it like that. But just working towards something, especially when it's creative in nature and it's non-existent or atypical, can just be really just tough and isolating. And, you can feel a bit gaslit sometimes, or thinking that, you got something, the moment's here, and then it doesn't happen. And so this book really just breaks down what creativity is, how to break through fear, how to get over your inner critic, how to get over procrastination, writer's block, tapped out of creativity, fighting against perfectionism, things like that. But the biggest takeaway, and what I feel like is the overall theme and just the thing that I really am preaching to and what I loved about this book, was the just not alleviation of like the pressure and like the things you hear growing up as women, but just the acknowledgement that you're not crazy and that like what you're doing is okay. When it talks about just the process and really like the biological process and just approach to creativity as women, and the femininity that goes into our creativity and how we approach things versus like a more masculine approach, which is thus then the universal standard because we live, such a patriarchal society. And so it's just really affirming and just cool seeing her break down and explain the differences and explain that it's okay if you're not a person that's like step 1, step 2, step 3. If we, do A to B, then I'll get us a C to D. It's okay if you want to do D and then go to B and then circle back to C and finish with A. And it's okay if you just start a project without having a strict outline and a budget in place and all, a team in order. It's okay if you can just start it and then figure those things out along the way. You're not crazy, unorganized, unhinged, if you will. It is all more than valid and worthwhile. And so I just really loved and appreciate that about this book and would share it with all of you. Maybe if some men are watching, don't be turned away, discouraged. She mentions several men in this book that she's worked with, and they have read this book, and they sometimes too, I think a lot of men go through that. I know a lot of men go through a lot of pressure, especially in creative spaces, I can only imagine, of having to live up to toxic masculinity and be this certain type of way. And if you're not that way, then you're kind of clowned about and joked about, and like the whole like locker room talk culture and things like that. So definitely, you can maybe get something from this as well. Lord knows women have to read books by men all the time in school, so you can read a little book by a woman and, you know, learn something and just get another perspective. I think it too gave me a great grace and understanding for both sides, and no longer wanting to fight against what I have just like naturally as a woman, and instead just embrace it further and just go ahead and work through my creativity and my process. There's so many things that it did to help me refine my schedule, to reapproach how I make, you know, when I make videos, my content schedules, when I'm sending out emails, when I'm trying to like, you know, I'm talking back and forth with like brands and things like this, or just even in general, just trying to communicate myself as a creative person, especially talking to someone who, not that they aren't creative, but just they aren't quite seeing the vision and seeing the things that I'm seeing so clearly, how to just communicate that to them. But the 1A I would say was being a woman and what comes with that, and our more holistic approach to things versus linear. And then 1B would be the cure, and I feel like just a direct, just like, I feel like the first time I heard and just, or really just read and learned how to directly address and thus eliminate and alleviate, my perfectionism. And I want to read just one of many quotes and just gems in this book that talk about different things, you know, different chapters. But this is in the Perfectionist chapter, page 95. This is under the Nurturing Acceptance and Trust paragraph, and it goes as follows. Increased self-trust allows for enhanced creative expression. Risks aren't as scary when they're taken with self-confidence. A sense of personal best enables the recovering perfectionist to experience pleasure in her creative process. The need to compare herself to others stops as she trusts her internal sense of excellence. With this kind of nurturing, her creativity continues to grow, acting as an antidote to stress. And I love that, and that is just one of the many, many, many gems in this book that I highly recommend to all of you to read. It is filled with just aha moments and breakthroughs and just other stories as well, to kind of, again, let you know and alleviate that you're not crazy, that you're not in this alone, that other people are going through what you're going through, and that's just natural. But you shouldn't be scared by it or run away from it, rather embrace it and lean into it and learn from it, so you can refine it and just become and really live out fully what you're meant to do as a creative person. So that is it for this review. I felt good, you know, dust the wheels off a bit and get back on the bike and share this great book with all of you. I'll be sure as always to link where you can buy this book or just more reference on it, the author's website, things like that in the description box below. And at the end of this, I'll have the playlist of my past book reviews for you guys to check out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for watching and making it to the end. Don't forget again to like this video, subscribe for more, and comment down below if you want to maybe see more book reviews and content like this, if you've read this book already and your thoughts on it, or more book suggestions. I'm always accepting and willing to hear anything else, and just put me on game. I want to keep the conversation going. Again, thank you guys for watching. As always, I'm sending you my love to wherever you are and wherever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.